Hi everyone, Namaste, and welcome to this video about the experiences and interpretations which I currently think can really help us in becoming skilled in every situation, especially in situations where we didn't succeed at the first try, to ultimately help us to further maximize our own unique talents and abilities, to maximize our potential and become the best version of ourselves. My name is jari'sTotelos. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you in advance for thinking about these perspectives, for discussing them with us, and for helping us to expand our combined understanding of them. In this video, based on my current perspectives on skills in video games like Super Mario, in sports like tennis, strategy games like chess, and sciences like math, I'm going to argue that every skill that we've ever learned and ever will learn fundamentally comes down to simply identifying three elements and mastering them to work for us personally. Namely, first identifying the situation in which we want to become skilled, such as a particular chessboard position, like this one, with white to move. And secondly, identifying the intended outcome we want to achieve in that situation, such as delivering checkmate towards black, which is where the black king can be taken by white, regardless of black's next move. And the third and final element is identifying our strategy to reach that outcome, such as this one. Moving the rook from e1 to e8 to deliver a checkmate called back rank checkmate, as the king cannot move anywhere because of his position on the back rank, along with these three pawns in front of him. Or as the black king would probably like to call them now, those pesky dim-witted fools! Thanks to them, I lost! And one main reason for me wanting to make a video on this topic was that I've often seen people, including myself, get discouraged or scared of trying to get skilled at something where we didn't show the talent to succeed at first try. Such as me badly losing my first tennis and chess tournament due to nerves and unknowingly playing way too risky with my forehand and failing my first ever high school exam of math. And perhaps these bad first impressions can even deter us from trying to get skilled in that area ever again, by us thinking things like, I can't do this because I'm just bad at playing tournaments, or other phrases like, I'm just not a math person. And I currently think that these disempowering thoughts can often occur when we're trying to get skilled in new areas, especially the ones where up until that point we have had the least success. For example, when we've been into sports all our life and then we want to learn chess, or when we suddenly have to do math for our finances. And therefore, the first major problem that I currently see with these disempowering thoughts is that they can cause us to become too anxious when we want to learn new skills to improve, and that this problem can be even greater when we inevitably need to learn completely new skills to adapt, such as teachers having to use Zoom and other technology in these corona times. And that this anxiousness can even turn into depression, because this anxiousness is what I currently believe to be the most important reason why my mother has struggled with a total of 6 depressions in her life, and why she is still struggling with the current one. All because she didn't believe that she was able to become skilled in these areas where she didn't immediately do it right, and that she therefore didn't think she was able to solve all her difficult problems. And that because of this, she had always relied on my dad and other people to solve these problems for her, until that could inevitably no longer work. Now, the second main reason for this topic was that even if we have shown enough talent to succeed at first try, that we can still get discouraged or scared from trying new strategies when we are struggling to learn a more difficult skill, such as hitting a reliable second serve in tennis, learning the endgame of king and queen versus king and rook in chess, or the Monty Hall problem in math. And the longer we are trying without succeeding, the more discouraging thoughts we can have, such as, I just can't get better at this, I guess I'm just a failure. Oh well, I guess other people are just more talented than I am. And these disempowering thoughts can then often lead us to either giving up on trying to learn new strategies, or trying to look for shortcuts or alternatives to these 3 elements of how to get skilled. And these strategies have, in my current experience, almost never worked for me in getting skilled faster. And all these disempowering thoughts about our abilities can make me so sad, because I currently strongly think that every skill we have ever learned fundamentally comes down to simply these 3 steps, and then to keep on testing strategies to find one that works for us. No matter how many strategies we've tried, as long as we keep on trying our best to find explanations on why they didn't work, and therefore learn from them, then we have gotten a step closer to our end goal. Just like Thomas Edison said in this quote, which I also talked about in a video on how to deal with failure. I didn't fail 1,000 times. I've just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. And that if we stop trying, we will never know how close we actually were to finding a strategy that worked for us, just like Edison also said in this quote. And finding the strategy that works for us is something that, in my current experience, we can most likely achieve much more easily than we may think, especially if there are people who have already found strategies that worked for them. And I also currently think that when we have to deal with disempowering thoughts of thinking that we cannot do something, and then keep in mind that every skill, including this new one we're trying to learn, is simply identifying these 3 elements and mastering them, that we can then be much more motivated to keep on trying new strategies to get skilled, and therefore to deal with these situations much, much more easily. And I will argue this by using examples of various skills in different areas. Regarding video game skills, I will use an example of Super Mario. Regarding sports skills, I will use a tennis strategy of taking time away from the opponent by going to the net after hitting a more aggressive shot. With regard to skills in strategy games, I already mentioned one with the back rank checkmate. And finally, regarding skills in sciences like math, I will use the Monty Hall problem. So, without further ado, let's dig deeper into why I currently believe this. So when we need to identify what we always need to become skilled, where should we start? What kinds of different skills are there that our definition needs to fit? Well, in nature, animals need to be skilled in some way in order to survive. And this would likely be the case for us as well in our first few years on Earth. And these skills are probably learned through mostly subconsciously/instinctively using trial and error, which is to try out new ways without much, if any, thinking about it, based on what previously did and did not work. And we can regard this as the first type of skill, that is, a skill mostly learned through instinctively using trial and error. And I currently think that one of the best ways to show how we as human beings have also become skilled in this way is by us playing Super Mario, where the goal is to rescue Princess Peach as quickly as possible by avoiding all the obstacles along the way, such as pits, Goombas, and fire sticks. And if we fail because of an obstacle, then the game gets us back to that point of failure to try again. And then once that obstacle is overcome, the next one can be even harder, so that we'll likely fail again, get back to that spot of failure, and try again and again until we've reached our goal. And because of this, skills in video games like Super Mario are probably also learned mostly instinctively through trial and error. And I currently think that these skills in Super Mario all contain the previously mentioned 3 elements. The first one being the situation in which we want to become skilled, /SkillSituation, /skisi, which is in this case that part of the level where we have failed by, for example, falling into a pit. The second one being the goal, which we want to achieve, which is to find a way past all the obstacles in order to rescue the princess as fast as possible. And the third and final element being the strategy we use to get to the goal, which is in this case most likely using our previous experiences through trial and error instinctively. And I currently think that we can see these 3 elements of a skill come back again and again in this famous video of one of us playing one of the hardest Super Mario levels I've ever seen, and where he, as a result of many trials and many errors, has gotten very frustrated by as well.
Alright, Nintendo, we're gonna do this. We're gonna play this video game. You and me, Mario. We're gonna go find the princess. She's gonna be grateful. She's gonna give you a kiss, and for next thing you know, you're gonna get laid tonight. Alright? So let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Let's start this shit up. World 1-1. I'm ready. Okay, and we're gonna... What the fuck? There's no floor. I guess I have to jump at this start? What the... This is... Okay, alright, up we go, and that... How the fuck do you get over to that? What are you doing there? You belong in the water. There's no water here. Okay, jump. Oh, thank God you can't get up there. Fuck this shit. Okay, maybe I'll just come back a little bit and just take a running jump, I guess. Here we go. Not even close. What the fuck? Fuck you, blooper. God damn it. Okay, so let me just do it real quick. Ready? And we jump. Yes, okay, over we go. Fuck, the little hole. I didn't go in the fucking hole. What the... Alright, okay, 1-1. Alright, a little jump. We take a big jump. We jump, hit the blooper, in the hole! Oh yeah, fuck you, yes! Whoa, that's a big fire stick. Oh, gotta get over there. Okay, alright. I gotta just get right over there. Can wait for the fire stick. And up! What? Who put that there? Where did that come from? Fuck that. Who designed this fucking level? God damn it. Okay, up. Here we go. Alright. So I know there's like an invisible block I can't see. There we go. Got it. Yes. Okay. Up. Get the big up. I'm the man. Oh yeah. Much bigger. Yeah. Do some push-ups. And we... What? No. Fuck that. How did that happen? I was inside of the tube. Fuck. Okay. Up we go. We do a jump. We jump up and hit the blooper, and now we watch out for the invisible block and the stick of flames, and we get the mushroom. Alright, couple push-ups here, yeah. Alright, so there's like a little, hup. Yes, I'm the man, fuck you. Okay, alright, fuck, I should have realized that is bullshit. That is.
And therefore, I currently think that these types of skills also contain the three elements of situation, goal, and strategy, with skill situation being the ones we just saw, with all the difficult obstacles of pits, fire sticks, and invisible blocks, the goal being to avoid them all, and the strategy being mostly based subconsciously on previous experiences through trial and error. Now the second type of skill I've currently identified is one mostly learned through watching and imitating others, which is something I fondly remember doing the most when I was a kid, watching Federer and Nadal playing. And I continued watching and imitating them into my teenage years to try to learn from them. And then I also started watching other players like David Nalbandian, who won his first 5 encounters with Federer from 2002 till 2003, and who beat Nadal and Federer back-to-back consecutively in the 2007 Madrid and Paris Master Series, the second most important series of tournaments of the year. And while watching them, I started to notice that they used a skill I have since called taking time and space away by net rushing, because I noticed that they often came to the net after hitting a shot that was hit more aggressively and then hitting a volley to win the point. And this strategy seemed more effective to me than not doing this by just standing back. And so I tried to explain this experience with the following thought process. When we have more time to hit the ball than normal and are inside the court, then hitting more aggressively and going to the net to hit a volley will give us a better chance to win the point and the match. Because in this situation, the opponent will likely use a slower ball to get back into a neutral position, and we can then punish this and prevent this from happening by using the extra time he gave us to hit a volley and prevent him from recovering. And because I try to do this by watching and imitating this skill, we can regard this second type of skill as one that is mostly learned through observation and imitation, along with a smaller part being the explanation of why we need to do this. And I currently think that Nalbandian was one of the best players to use this strategy, especially when playing against Federer, as we'll see in these 3 points.
made it.
Lovely feel off the volley. A much better backhand volley, especially considering the fact that in the
And then, after creating this explanation and watching this point of top tennis training, where Johan, the player on the other side of the court, didn't use this strategy in this situation after hitting a backhand, and Simon was able to hit a recovery slice to get back into the point, I was even more convinced that in this situation we have a higher chance of winning the point by going to the net after hitting a more aggressive shot. And even though Johan ended up winning the point anyway, if he had used this strategy, then he would have likely had an even better chance to win the point and the match. And so, in the case of this second type of skill, probably mostly learned through observation and imitation, along with the smaller part being an explanation of why we do this, can also fit the previously mentioned three criteria of skill situation / SkillSi, goal and strategy. Because firstly, the situation is we are inside the court with more time. Secondly, the goal is to go to the net and hit a volley after using an aggressive shot. And lastly, the strategy is something like either instinctively wanting to go to the net or knowingly going to the net because we anticipate the opponent's slower recovery shot. And therefore, I also currently think that these three elements also fit the skills in sports, and especially in tennis. Finally, I'm going to talk about how we can learn math and science skills in general by using these same three criteria as well. But that with these skills in particular, the previously mentioned strategies of trial and error and observation and imitation don't work as well to become skilled here. And then instead, the better way to get skilled in these situations is to find a strategy in the form of explanations and perspectives that have worked for us in understanding what we need to do in these more scientific situations. And that therefore, to become skilled in these areas, we need a strategy that focuses on thought processes like explanations and perspectives. And I will argue this by using an example of how I got skilled in a situation known as the Monty Hall problem, which I think has been explained very well already in this video by Numberphile.
Well, Let's Make a Deal was a popular show back in the day. Contestants could go on this game show and maybe go home with the car of their dreams. First of all, the game show host was a very famous guy named Monty Hall. And Monty would come on to the show and he would have 3 doors. And a contestant, that's you, would come on to the show. Monty would give you the chance to choose door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Now behind one of those doors, only one, was your dream flash car. Bright red, sports car, very fast, it was awesome. And behind the other 2 doors were zonks. That was the Let's Make a Deal word for something that you don't really want. So you had, looks like a 1 in 3 chance of getting your dream car. So suppose you pick door number 1, and Monty would then do the same thing every week. He would go over to the 2 doors you didn't pick, 2 and 3, and he would open one of them. Let's suppose he opened door number 2, and the door that Monty opened would always have behind it a zonk.
So he knew?
Well, he knows everything, right? He's the game show host. And then Monty looked at you in the face and say, do you like door number 1 or do you want to switch? There's only one thing to switch to. In this case, it's door number 3. Are you going to stay with your choice, or are you going to make that leap to something different? And very often contestants would stand there agonized, right? So they've got some new information.
So stick or switch?
Stick or switch. Well, a remarkable thing about this problem, simple as it is that it has sparked just endless debate. In the time of the show, I don't recall anybody ever saying there was a dedicated strategy that you should always follow.
So what door should we choose for the highest chances to get the car? Now, our instincts might tell us that changing doors does not give us a better chance to win the car. However, it turned out that the contestants who trusted these instincts got a door without the car much more often than the contestants who did change doors. And we can explain this by saying that the chance of us picking the right door the first time was 1 in 3, and the chance of it being the other 2 was 2 in 3. And that when Monty opened another door with the zonk behind it, this eliminated the 1 in 3 chance, and this amount was then added onto the remaining non-chosen door, as number file will also explain here.
In fact, there is a dedicated strategy you should follow. You should pick door number 3. That's the answer. You should switch. You should switch every time, and that will do the best for you over the long run. So there is a 1/3 chance that the car is behind the door you picked initially. That means there must be a 2/3 chance, much greater, twice as big, that the car is somewhere else. And since we know that somewhere else cannot be door number 2, because Monty showed us that, it's got to be over here. So this is what you should choose. You should switch. Twice as likely to have the car behind the door that you didn't pick as the door that you did. A 2/3 probability to a 1/3 probability. Now, if you switch, are you guaranteed to win? Absolutely not. But if you play this game over and over again, on average, you will win 2/3 of the time. So switch is your strategy, and you can't beat it.
Now, this strategy of explaining why we need to say yes when Monty asks us if we want to change doors might not have led to us fully understanding the concept yet. But if this is the case, we can then look for new strategies, such as new explanations and other thought processes, to find a strategy that has worked for us in being able to say yes in this situation, and explain why this gives us the best chance to win the car. Exactly like YouTube commenter Viva Reversi has done and shared in this comment. And I currently think that, to become skilled here, we simply need to keep looking for new strategies like other explanations until we have found or created a strategy that works for us in becoming skilled in the Monty Hall problem and other of these more thinking-based skill situations. Which, in the case of the Monty Hall problem, is to say yes when Monty asks us if we want to change doors, along with the explanation that has helped us to understand why and therefore has worked for us. Well, at least saying yes should be our strategy if our goal is to win the car and not the zonk. But I'm sure that there are some of us out there who would rather want the zonk instead, and then we'll have the strategy to say no. And therefore, when I look at how we have learned all these different skills, ranging from video games and sports to chess and mathematics, I currently think that how we learn new skills fundamentally all comes down to simply identifying these 3 elements and making them work for us to become skilled. Namely, skill situation, or SkillSi, goal, and strategy. And I currently strongly think that this definition, containing the elements we need to become skilled, can really help us in situations where we have failed, to then look for and create better strategies for any of these 3 elements much more easily. And to then be able to turn the failure into a success with any type of skill we so desperately want or need to learn. I really hope that this video has given you a better understanding of this perspective on how to become skilled. and that will help you and as many other people as possible to further maximize all our potential. Please feel free to try the strategy out yourself and to share your experiences with them. And if you have any questions, suggestions for topics you'd like to know my perspective on or want to discuss with us, or other comments, also please free to ask them in the comment section below, in an email, or in any other way that you can reach me. So that we can improve these ideas, practice our discussion skills, and learn more from and about each other, to become closer to the best version of ourselves. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.